God rules over everything, from the big things like the sun rising to the little things like feeding the birds. And this is why we can trust Him, because He is sovereign. And in His eyes, we are of far more value than the birds, so we know that He will care for us. The sovereignty of God is one of the most incredible and glorious truths in the Bible. From Genesis to Revelation, the Bible teaches that God is absolutely sovereign over all things. He rules everything in the entire universe according to His own will. He is the King who sits on His throne in the heavens. Psalm 47 says, God reigns over the nations. God sits on His holy throne. And Psalm 115 says that our God is in the heavens. He does all that He pleases. As King, God rules over everything, from the greatest of kings to the smallest of sparrows. His dominion is absolute. He does what He wills, and no one can stop Him. In Isaiah 46, God says, I am God, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times things not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will accomplish all my purpose. This is the God who has given us an eternal inheritance. He will keep His promises because He is sovereign. The scriptures teach that God is sovereign over the natural world, the spiritual realm, and the human world. First, God is sovereign over the natural world, and He rules it with kindness and care. The psalmist says, God covers the heavens with clouds. He prepares rain for the earth. He makes grass grow on the hills. He gives to the beasts their food and to the young ravens that cry. And Jesus says in Matthew 5 that God makes His sun rise on the evil and on the good, and He sends rain on the just and on the unjust. God rules over everything, from the big things like the sun rising to the little things like feeding the birds. And this is why we can trust Him, because He is sovereign. And in His eyes, we are of far more value than the birds, so we know that He will care for us. Second, God is sovereign over the spiritual realm. 1 Samuel 16 says that the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and a harmful spirit from the Lord tormented him. And in 1 Kings 22 we read, Now therefore behold, the Lord has put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these your prophets. The Lord has decreed disaster for you. In these passages, Saul and the prophets made their own sinful choices and bore the consequences. None of them will be able to stand before God on the last day and say, God, you made me do it. It's not my fault. They were fully responsible for their actions. Yet, from God's side, He was always sovereign. We also see in the story of Job that God was always in complete control of Satan's activities. And the Lord said to Satan, Behold, all that Job has is in your hand. Only against him do not stretch out your hand, in Job 1. God was the one who drew the boundary around Job that the devil could not breach. And God protects our lives as well. Every temptation and testing is under His sovereign control. We can trust Him, knowing that our challenges will never be too great for us to handle. We will not be destroyed, but we will overcome, and we will fulfill His great purposes for our lives, families, and churches. Remember Paul's incredible words to the Colossians. By Him, by Jesus, all things were created, in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. All things were created through Him and for Him. And He is before all things, and in Him all things hold together. Wow! Everything in the spiritual realm is under His sovereign control. Third, God is sovereign over the kingdoms of men. Look at God's words in Jeremiah 27. It is I who by my great power and my outstretched arm have made the earth, with the men and animals that are on the earth, and I give it to whomever it seems right to me. And now I've given all these lands into the hands of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and I have given him also the beasts of the field to serve him. From his side, Nebuchadnezzar thought he was militarily brilliant, and that through his own power he had captured many nations. And yet from God's side, Nebuchadnezzar was only another servant doing his will. God had given the nations into his hands. Throughout the Bible, God raises up one king and puts down another. Daniel says, "Blessed be the name of God forever and ever, to whom belong wisdom and might. He changes times and seasons. He removes kings and sets up kings." From their side, powerful men make alliances, destroy their opponents, and take control. But from God's side, He is the one who gives them power. He is sovereign over all the nations. God is sovereign over everything, even those events that seem to happen by chance. And He's sovereign over our salvation. Paul says in Romans that those whom God predestined, He also called. And those whom He called, He also justified. And those whom He justified, He also glorified. Wow! God did it all. And Paul tells Timothy that God saved us and called us to a holy calling, not because of our works, but because of His own purpose and grace, which He gave us in Christ Jesus before the ages began. God is the one who saves us. He does it. He chose us before the world was created. He called us. He revealed Himself to us. He sanctified us. He keeps us, and He helps us to fulfill His glorious purposes. This is why we can trust Him and rest in Him, whatever struggles and challenges we face along the way. Because of His sovereignty, we can have great faith, boldness, and hope. We know that He will save us in the end.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more teaching videos like this. For more information about LeaderSource, please visit our website, www.leadersource.org.